Welcome to Great Getaways. As most of our viewers know, one of our favorite things to do is hiking. We brought out a show in the past called Best Hiking Trails, but as we went over all the video, we realized how much we had and how many places that you'd enjoy too. Now we did a two-part series. Today is part one, and we're going to be going to the Lower Peninsula of Michigan as well as Canada. So whether you're an avid hiker or you just like to go out for a stroll in the woods, you'll enjoy this show. We're going to start out today in Canada. Now you may ask, why Canada? It's because it's one of the most exciting and scenic trails that we've ever been on, and has always been one of our favorites. It's called the Bruce Trail, and it's located in Ontario, Canada. Chris, this is a great trail, I've heard. I know that it's beautiful up here. Why don't you tell us where we're starting at and what we're going to be seeing?
Tom, the Bruce Trail is probably one of the most famous footpaths or hiking trail in all of Canada. It runs from Niagara Falls all the way to Tobermory, and we are standing right now in Tobermory, which is either the start or the beginning of our hike. And we're going to start here. And what we have is we're going to go down, we're going to work our way south towards Wyerton. We're going to see something called Skinner's Bluff Lookout. We're going to see some amazing rock features along the trail, and the trail's rugged. It's a workout, so we got good hiking shoes, we got all our gear, and we're going to strike out.
As we hiked through the woods, the ground was solid rock, and it was just amazing how the forest managed to spring up through it. It's the pot of gold at the end of an old logging road. For the first few miles, the water teases you. While walking the old logging road, you can see distant blue peeking through the trees. Not much was said as we were all filled with the excitement of what lies ahead. If you follow the bend in the forest, you eventually walk along Skinner's Bluff, along a escarpment face that casts its view over White Cloud, Griffiths, and Hay Island. These lonely islands seem to magically appear, each rising its head above the blue waters towards the end of the trail.
So we just went through some fabulous hardwood forest with a mix of sugar maple and oak, and now we have a spectacular view of Georgian Bay and some wetlands and hardwood forest out in the distance.
So we're just kind of out here in a rock outcropping in here.
Right on the edge, yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so watch your step. There's no railings here, it's no boundaries.
That makes it nice though.
Yes.
I mean, it's nice to get out to an area like this and not find a fence in front of you. Wow. Beautiful. Now what bay have we got out here?
This is Georgian Bay.
Okay.
And White Cloud Island.
Very nice.
Some working farmland here close to us.
Okay, that's what this area that's kind of cleared is then, huh?
The wetlands, and you see it's a bit marshy.
Oh yeah, you can see that. Yeah, you can almost see the sign of a little creek maybe going through down there too.
Wow, you guys, this is an amazing look at I'm literally hanging over the edge here, and I'm probably 80 feet up over the canopy.
It looks like it's at least that far, yeah. It feels like it anyway from up here.
Absolutely.
Now the Bruce Trail actually runs for quite a distance, doesn't it, Darcy?
It does, yeah. The trail officially starts in Queenston, down south, really close to Niagara Falls. Follows this escarpment edge all the way through southern Ontario and ends in Tobermory, and the total trail, the main trail, is about 890 kilometers of trail.
Wow. So it's a great trail system.
It is, it's fabulous. And then there's side trails as well. That totals another 400 and some odd. Yeah, it's impressive. So it's a lot of hiking. You don't get tired of it.
Now here in the Bruce County, how many kilometers do we have here?
Over 150 kilometers of trail in this area from Wyerton north.
Does a lot of it look like this?
It's a variety. Some of it looks like this, and some of it you get to inland lakes. A lot of it you're as opposed to looking down into field, you're looking right into Georgian Bay, and then you can see beyond because the water is so clear.
From Canada, we move on to the Negwagon State Park.
Traveling Michigan for over 25 years, to our amazement, we had never heard of this park before, and we're pretty excited to get started. Studying up on the park before we arrived, we learned it was one of the more secluded parks in the state. It was recommended that you have a four-wheel drive just to reach the park, although it was dry and the two-tracker that we took there was very easy to handle. Once you arrived at the park, the road was much improved and was about 3 miles of gravel before reaching the parking lot.
Well, we've made it out now to the Negwagant State Park. We're at the trailhead. We're just getting ready to take off onto the trail. We've got about a 3,700 acre park out here. We've got several miles of Lake Huron shoreline. Some of the most beautiful undeveloped shoreline along Lake Huron. We're going to get out there on the trail and take a look at this. The only sounds you hear are the wind that's rustling the leaves in the trees, and just off in the distance and not too far away is Lake Huron, and you can hear the wind blowing out there and the waves coming in. And I'm out on the shoreline now, and as you can see, it's desolate out here. It's beautiful. It's rocky, rough to walk on, but man, look at the view you've got out here.
Camping is permitted at 4 designated campsites only. Continuing on the trail, we discovered the next campsite.
We're going to go down here. It's right on the water. We'll take a look and see what it's like.
Backcountry campsites may be reserved by calling the Harrisville State Park at 989-724-5126 between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. summer season, Monday through Friday during the off-season. You may also register in person at the Harrisville State Park.
Oh, this looks like a nice site. It's a good area here. It's open. We've got a picnic table. I got a fire ring. We got a spot here to throw a tent. There's a little privy over here. I noticed too there's a sign right out here on the water so you can see it from the water. Kayakers going along here like to pull into some of these sites and use them too, so that just alerts them that there is a site here for them to come into. Nice area though, beautiful down here. Wow, you ought to see this.
If you're traveling by kayak or canoe, the portage distance from the parking lot to the beach is about 1/8 of a mile. There are signs along the shore to indicate the location of each campsite. GPS coordinates are available to assist in locating the sites from land or water.
Well, we're at the second campsite now. Once we hit the first one, they're laid out about every half mile. And this is the second one that looks like Twin Pines is the name of this one. Let's take a look.
Backcountry camping is available in Negwagant State Park from April through November. This type of camping can be a very rewarding experience, as some of Negwagant State Park's most scenic areas are accessible only by hiking, kayaking, or canoeing along the Lake Huron shore. The remoteness and serenity of backcountry camping draws many people. However, those same reasons necessitate careful planning and preparation. You are responsible for your own safety. Pre-registration is required prior to setting up camp.
Hoyce Lake is another one of those diamonds in the rough.
Hoyce Lake's foot travel area encompasses 10,600 acres of the Huron National Forest that has been reserved for foot travel.
We're here at the Hoyce Lake foot travel area, and we're going back in. We have been here before, but not over in the area we're in right now. So we're coming in from a different direction, going out to what we hope will be some small lakes. We're going to try a little bit of fishing out there. We just looked the area over. It's a nice hiking trail, over 10,000 acres of forest out here with over 20 miles of trail. So why don't you join us and we'll get things going.
2 connecting loops of wide trails create a 20-mile figure-8 system through the area. Within reach are 7 lakes, beaver ponds, meadows, marshes, and a second-growth forest of aspen, pine, and northern hardwoods. The terrain is hilly enough to be interesting, but not difficult to walk. The trails are well marked with blue diamonds and numbered markers.
Certain sections in the trail, it just lets you know where you're at. The easiest way, first of all, you want to look it up here and see the number 8. Then you just locate the number 8 on the map itself, and it'll let you know exactly where you're at. And in this case, we're headed over to 10, which is about a mile down the trail this way. One of the ways you make sure you're always on the trail is you watch for blue blazes. You'll see them in the trees as you're walking along. So keep your eyes open, check your maps out, you'll stay on course.
The trails are just a short drive from urban sprawl.
Well, we found our lake. This is Byron Lake, one of the many lakes out here in the Huron National Forest that you can come out to. It took us about 2 miles of walking to get out to this lake. And I think you can probably see across enough that we can get down by the shore here. So we're going to go ahead. One of the guys we met on the way out, Jerry, told us that he came out here ice fishing and did fairly well. So we're going to go ahead, get our rods out, do a little cast, and have a bite to eat. Just kind of relax and walk around the lake and look at the sights and just enjoy ourselves out here in the woods.
When we reached Byron Lake, we were pretty excited to fish this hidden gem. Here it was 70 degrees, the sun was shining, and not a soul around. We checked over the campsite and prepared our gear.
We're here at Byron Lake, and we found the campsite that's here. There's one campsite on this lake, and as you can see, there's a fire ring sitting out here, and they got logs around so you can sit around. It's a really nice area. It's real sandy out here. Plenty of places to put your tent. I would also, being out in here, there's a bear out in here. You probably want to tie your food up at night if you do camp out here. But this is just a great spot, a beautiful view out on the lake, and you're all by yourself. How nice is that?
We soon found ourselves catching fish after fish after fish. Now that was something I didn't expect, but what a welcome surprise.
This is what, 4, 5?
5.
Been here 20 minutes maybe casting? 4 if we don't catch the fact that Denny got caught too. You know what? We're getting ready to leave here today. Although it looks bright out here right now, we're out by the lake. You get into the woods, let me tell you what, it darkens up, and it darkens up in a hurry. So we're going to make sure we leave ourselves enough time. But look at this. We're out here by ourselves on this wilderness lake, nobody else around. What a great day in the fish. Some days you just hit it right, and today was the day we've been catching fish all the way along the shoreline, walking along, casting an ultralight, one after another. You cannot beat it.
The Corsair Trail is well known for cross-country skiing, but it is also a great hiking trail.
We haven't gotten too far out on the trail, and we already are passing over a creek. This is Silver Creek. We have been out here in the past. I remember this particular spot. One of the things we noticed though as we were going over the creek was a few trout scurrying off to the darker places down the river here just to get away from us. But just a quick thought, we're not very far into the trail. You might want to carry a fly rod back here if you're just coming back to do a little bit of fishing.
As you hike through Corsair, one of the things to take notice of are the stands of red pine that dot the forest. By the size of them and the neat rows that they're in, I would guess that they were planted by the CCC after the old growth forest was all chopped down and hauled away to help rebuild Chicago after the Great Fire of 1831.
Came down onto what we thought was the forest floor, at least I did when we first were looking at it from off in the distance in the woods. But as you can see, the lake is dried up in this area, and even over in here, which I thought was water, is just mud. We think over this way there's still a little bit of water. We can hear some frogs, so we're going to assume that is. This is a spongy, almost boggy-like area that you come into. So watch your step if you do walk down here close. You get over towards the muddier areas, you might sink right in. Great discovery when you come out here though. It's just fun to come out to these places, find them on the map, actually go out to them and look around. Bring your binoculars along because you may see wildlife off in the distance around the edges, or also bring a camera. This is beautiful. Look at these pine trees around us. You know, we're almost in just a tiny little meadow down here, but it's so pretty and green. The wind is just rustling in the trees. You can even smell Lake Huron in the distance. Wow, can't think of a better place to be.
Located on the western side of the state north of Ludington, it is a trail that gives you all the wilderness you could want.
It is well worth the half-hour trip from Baldwin to visit the dunes, a popular and strikingly beautiful area.
We are out here today. We're out at the dunes. We are in the Huron Manistee National Forest right now. I've got John, Forest Ranger, is with me right now. We've come to an overlook where we're overlooking Lake Michigan. Now we're bordering right on the Norhouse Dunes, which is a very special area. Why don't you tell us just a little bit about that?
Sure. Nordhaus Dunes Wilderness Area, congressionally designated in 1987. Approximately 3,500 acres. We've got dunes that were formed, created over 4,000 years ago.
Wow.
Along the shore, we have federally endangered piping plover.
Okay.
Shorebird nests along the shore. So we have certain restrictions to protect habitat as well as the resource. We also have sensitive plants as well as endangered plants, pitcher's thistle. We've got some restrictions revolved around camping as well as the piping plover habitat. Dogs are required to be on leash within 6 feet of the owner. We've got some camping restrictions along the lake shore, 400 feet off the lake shore.
In a situation like that now, are there trails and where they're camping at? Are they just going out and finding a campsite, or are there designated areas?
Right, it's all dispersed camping.
Okay.
So within that 3,500 acres, you can pretty much camp wherever you like. Again, we have some restrictions regarding water and trail, so you've got to stay 100 feet from trail, 200 feet from water, and 400 feet from the lake shore.
Well, this now is only really a small part of the Huron Manistee National Forest. Can you tell us something about the other parts of it?
Sure, yeah, we've got wild and scenic rivers that accept all types of paddlecraft. We've got a national scenic North Country Trail.
Oh, okay, that's coming through here then.
Yeah, that's over 4,000 miles long, over 1,000 miles in Michigan, and we've got a big chunk of it here on the Huron Manistee National Forest.
Now, that trail, it's a linear trail. Are there loops that people can take, so if they just want to do part?
Absolutely. In fact, it runs really close to the Big M recreation area, where we've got over 37 miles of biking trails that are hiking trails as well.
The Lake Michigan Recreation Area borders Lake Michigan to the west and the Nordhaus Dunes Wilderness Area to the south. There are several historical interpretive signs along the campground trails discussing the history and dune ecology of the area. The Lake Michigan Campground is perched on the shores of Lake Michigan, 15 miles south of Manistee. The area creates an incredible setting with a scenic overlook of the lake and a sandy swimming beach. This family campground provides an array of hiking and biking trails, plus swimming, fishing, and kayaking.
We're at a great overlook right now, but where from here are the Nordhaus Dunes?
We are just north of Nordhaus Dunes Wilderness Area. Okay. So we're at Lake Michigan Recreation Area at this overlook. So we're about a mile north. And if you go south along the shore, you'll hit the wilderness boundary. And from there, camping opportunities abound, as well as other recreational pursuits.
John, I'm excited now that I've heard all this stuff. What do you say we go out and take a look at some of it?
That sounds like a great idea.
All right.
Let me remind you that wilderness is managed by 4 federal agencies. The U.S. Forest Service,
okay,
the National Park Service, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and the Bureau of Land Management.
Wow, a lot of people involved then.
Yes, so the National Preservation System.
Man, there's a lot of stairs here, John.
Well, yeah, just glad they're, a hard surface, so it's easier traveling.
Yeah, and it's easier going down than coming up, too.
Yep.
The Ludington State Park Trail takes us by Hamlin Lake and the Lake Michigan shoreline, along with the Big Sable Point Lighthouse.
Most of the dunes are found within the Ludington State Park that encompasses 5,300 acres of dunes and woodlands, and the neighboring Nordhaus Dunes covers another 3,500 acres. There are more than 20 miles of trails crossing the Ludington State Park, so we decided to take the most popular and the shortest, the half-mile Skyline Trail. The only thing is, there are 3 stairways to climb to access the trail. Once the stairs have been mastered, you are at the top of the dunes on the trail. The views are spectacular. Interpretive posts and brochures are available to help you identify the 3 common evergreens in Michigan, explain the dune country succession, and point out the stumps and other remnants of the loggers who arrived in 1851 to log the white pine. The numerous trails are as varied as they are beautiful. There is a trail for every type of hiker, walker, individual, and family. You can choose the one that matches your fitness level and preferred pace. The information sites offer historical facts, and the well-placed benches allow a respite to enjoy the natural beauty. Each trail is unique. We've come out to Ludington State Park. First time we've ever been here. We wanted to just do a quick hike for the evening. Didn't know anything about it, got out here. We talked to a couple of people, found some trailheads, and started out. Decided to go up this stairway, which went up and up and up and up. We are now on the Skyline Trail, what they call the Skyline Trail. It's probably one of the higher dune areas that's here, and it was a long way up the stairs. There are easier ways to get up here, but we didn't know that until we got here. And somebody walked by and said, "You did that the hard way." But we had a good time doing it. We're up here at the top right now, and it is beautiful. Just take a look around you. We come along the trail, along the ridge of it. It's beautiful. You can see for a long ways out there. We came to a stairway now. We're going back down. And we came down part of it. We're what would have looked like midway. We got to go down over here and down there and then down over here too. The steps just keep going down. I do see a biker down there, so we must be getting close. We'll have to go down and find out. Besides, it's getting dark. We want to get going.
Last but not least is the Lost Twin Lakes Trail in Houghton Lake. This well-forested 3.3-mile loop is also open to biking, but there are so many fallen trees and limbs, I wouldn't recommend it. Still a great hiking trail, though.
When you ask locals how to get to the Lost Twin Lakes Trail, they say turn south off of M55 where the old McDonald's used to be and take the road until the pavement ends and continue on for a ways, keeping to the right of the winding dirt road until you find the parking area. That just highlights how obscure and remote the trail is. We're just outside of Houghton Lake right now. We're at the Lost Twin Lakes Trail. It's about a 3-mile trail. Usually takes about an hour to an hour and a half to walk around it. There are some hills out here. It's out in the middle of nowhere, as you can probably tell by looking around. We're going to go up a hill, and we're going to overlook a swampy area, the confluence of 3 rivers that come through this way. And then we're going to circle back around, drop down, and go through kind of a swampy area, and then come back out to the beginning. Great place to come out here if you just want to get away from things and take a nice little hike through the woods. The trail is part of the Osable River State Forest, and the trailhead is south of Houghton Lake along Reserve Road. It is an ideal trail for those who like to hike in the woods. A lot of pine trees. That's most of what we're in right now. Whole forest full of them. Now there are some old growth out here too. No, we passed a tree back down there, a big hemlock. I think, if I remember this trail correctly, I think we're going to be finding some later as we go along, some of the old growth that's out here. Beautiful to look at those trees because they're so huge, but it's pretty thick through here. This is some of the old growth forest that's up in front of me. There's a red pine here. You can see the size of it. It's huge. And you'll find these that the loggers have skipped over and left a few sitting here. Hope you enjoyed part 1 of our 2-part series on our favorite hiking trails. In the next one, and keep your eyes open for it because it's going to be coming out soon, we're going to take you all across Michigan's Upper Peninsula. If there's any information you would like on today's show, you can go to our website at greatgetaways.tv. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.